Have you ever felt like happiness is something that happens to you, a lucky break, a perfect circumstance, rather than something you can actively create? What if I told you that happiness isn't just a feeling, but a choice? A deliberate, powerful choice you can make every single day. That's the profound promise at the heart of Barry Farber's incredible book, The Happiness Choice. Welcome to Visual Books. Today, we are exploring The Happiness Choice, a transformative guide that empowers us to take the reins of our emotional well-being and cultivate a life filled with genuine joy, regardless of external pressures. This isn't about rose-tinted glasses, it's about building a resilient inner landscape. Farber, a seasoned communicator and author, draws upon his own experiences and timeless wisdom to unlock the secrets of sustained happiness. Let's dive in, chapter by chapter, and unpack the profound lessons within. Chapter 1: The Illusion of Circumstance. This is where our journey begins, by dismantling a deeply ingrained myth that our happiness is solely dictated by our external circumstances. Farber argues forcefully that this is a dangerous illusion. We often wait for the promotion, the new car, the perfect relationship to finally feel happy. But he explains that true happiness is an inside job. It's about our perspective, our mindset, and how we interpret the events in our lives, not the events themselves. The key example here is how two people facing identical difficult situations, a job loss, for instance, can have vastly different emotional responses, not because of the situation itself, but because of their internal programming. The actionable advice? Start noticing the language you use about your life. Are you saying, "I can't be happy until X happens," or are you looking for pockets of joy right now? Begin shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have, even the smallest things. Chapter 2: The Power of the Present Moment. This chapter zeroes in on the trap of living in the past or the future, which robs us of the present. Farber emphasizes that the past is gone, and the future is yet to come, only the present is where life is actually lived. Dwelling on past regrets or anxieties about what might happen steals our peace. He uses the analogy of trying to steer a ship by looking only at the wake or staring intently at the horizon, ignoring the steering wheel in your hands. The core concept is mindfulness, the practice of intentionally bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. The actionable advice here is simple yet profound: practice noticing your breath. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the sensation of inhaling and exhaling. Try to fully engage in whatever you are doing, whether it's washing dishes or having a conversation. Chapter 3: Gratitude, the Antidote to Dissatisfaction. Here, Farber introduces gratitude as a potent weapon against the constant craving for more. He posits that dissatisfaction thrives when we focus on what we don't have. Gratitude, on the other hand, cultivates an appreciation for what we do have, no matter how small. He shares anecdotes of people who, despite immense hardship, found profound joy by actively practicing gratitude. The key example might be someone recounting their blessings after a near-death experience, or a parent finding deep contentment in their children's laughter even amidst financial struggles. The actionable advice is to start a gratitude journal. Every day, write down at least 3 things you are grateful for. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a friendly smile, or the roof over your head. Chapter 4: The Art of Acceptance. This chapter tackles the often difficult concept of acceptance, not resignation, but a clear-eyed acknowledgement of reality. Farber explains that resisting what is, or wishing things were different, expends immense energy and fuels suffering. Acceptance, however, frees up that energy to focus on what can be changed or to find peace within the unchangeable. He uses the example of a storm. You can rage against it, or you can seek shelter and wait for it to pass. The core idea is to distinguish between what is within your control and what is not. The actionable advice? When you find yourself resisting a situation, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it isn't, practice accepting it for what it is, and then decide how you will respond. Chapter 5: Forgiveness, releasing the chains of resentment. Faber addresses the corrosive nature of holding on to grudges. He explains that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It harms only you. Forgiveness, he argues, is not about condoning the offense, but about freeing yourself from the emotional burden it carries. He often uses the story of individuals who have forgiven those who have deeply wronged them, not for the perpetrator's sake, but for their own liberation. The core concept is that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. The actionable advice? Begin by acknowledging the hurt. Then, consciously decide to release the anger and the desire for retribution. This can be a gradual process, but the intention to forgive is the first powerful step. Chapter 6: The Choice to See the Good. This chapter builds on the idea of perspective. Faber encourages us to actively look for the good in people and situations, even when it's difficult. He suggests that our brains are wired to focus on the negative, a survival mechanism, but we can retrain ourselves to seek out the positive. He might share stories of people who, after experiencing significant loss, chose to focus on the kindness they received or the lessons learned. The key example is the benefit-finding approach, where you actively search for the silver lining in every cloud, not to deny the hardship, but to foster resilience. The actionable advice? Make it a practice to find one positive thing in every person you encounter and every situation you face. It might be a small act of kindness, a moment of shared laughter, or a valuable lesson. Chapter 7: The Importance of Connection. Human connection is highlighted as a fundamental pillar of happiness. Faber emphasizes that we are social beings and thrive on meaningful relationships. Isolation and loneliness are detrimental to our well-being. He stresses the quality of our connections over the quantity. The example here could be the profound impact of a supportive friend during a crisis, or the simple joy of sharing a meal with loved ones. The core concept is that investing in relationships nourishes the soul. The actionable advice? Make time for the people who matter. Reach out, listen actively, and express your appreciation. Cultivate genuine connections. Chapter 8: The Power of Purpose. This chapter delves into the deep satisfaction that comes from having a sense of purpose. Faber explains that when we feel our lives have meaning, when we are working towards something bigger than ourselves, our happiness is amplified. This purpose doesn't have to be grandiose, it can be found in raising a family, contributing to a community, or pursuing a passion. He might share stories of individuals who found immense fulfillment by dedicating themselves to a cause they believed in. The key example is the difference between just having a job and having a calling. The actionable advice? Identify what truly matters to you. What are your values? What causes ignite your passion? Find ways to align your daily actions with your sense of purpose. Chapter 9: Embracing Imperfection. Perfectionism, Faber argues, is a relentless enemy of happiness. The constant striving for flawlessness is exhausting and leads to disappointment. This chapter encourages us to embrace our imperfections and the imperfections of others. He emphasizes that our flaws are part of what makes us unique and human. The example could be a creative artist who learns to accept drafts and revisions as part of the process, rather than striving for an unattainable perfect first attempt. The core concept is that good enough is often more than enough. The actionable advice? Challenge your own perfectionist tendencies. Celebrate small wins and acknowledge that mistakes are opportunities for growth. Chapter 10: The Choice to be Resilient. Resilience, Faber explains, is the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's not about avoiding challenges, but about developing the inner strength to navigate them and emerge stronger. He highlights that resilience is a skill that can be cultivated. He might recount stories of individuals who faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles but found the inner fortitude to overcome them. The key example is the difference between breaking and bending. Resilient individuals bend but don't break. The actionable advice? Practice self-care. Build a strong support network. Develop problem-solving skills, and most importantly, believe in your own capacity to overcome challenges. Chapter 11. Cultivating Inner Peace. This chapter focuses on finding a sense of calm and contentment within oneself, independent of external validation or achievement. Faber suggests that inner peace is cultivated through self-awareness, acceptance, and a reduction in internal noise, the constant chatter of worries and anxieties. He might offer techniques like meditation or quiet reflection as pathways to this state. The core concept is that true peace originates from within. The actionable advice? Dedicate time each day for quiet contemplation. Practice letting go of thoughts that do not serve you. Find activities that bring you a sense of deep calm. Chapter 12. The Joy of Contribution. Faber emphasizes that true happiness is often found in giving to others. When we contribute to the well-being of others, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment and joy. This contribution can take many forms: volunteering, acts of kindness, or simply offering a listening ear. He shares stories of individuals whose lives were transformed by the joy they found in serving others. The key example is the helper's high, the positive feelings associated with altruistic behavior. The actionable advice? Look for opportunities to make a difference, however small. Help a neighbor, donate your time, or offer support to someone in need. Chapter 13. The Happiness Choice in Action. This is the culmination of the book, where Faber brings all the concepts together and empowers the reader to make the conscious choice to pursue happiness. He reiterates that happiness is not a passive state but an active, ongoing commitment. He stresses that the journey of cultivating happiness is lifelong and requires consistent effort. The example here is not a single story but a call to integrate these principles into everyday life. The core concept is that the choice for happiness is made repeatedly, moment by moment. The actionable advice? Review the lessons learned in the previous chapters. Identify one or two areas where you will focus your efforts immediately. Commit to making the happiness choice, not just today, but every day. And so, the happiness choice leaves us with a powerful and empowering message. It's a reminder that while life will undoubtedly present its challenges, our ability to find and cultivate joy is not a matter of luck, but of deliberate, conscious choice. By embracing gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness, and purpose, and by actively choosing to see the good and connect with others, we can build a life that is not just lived, but truly celebrated. Thank you for watching. If you found this summary helpful, please like this video, subscribe to Visual Books for more summaries, and share it with someone who would benefit.